there is no photography during tonight's performance. Thank you and enjoy the show. 晚上好，欢迎来到上海美国学校表演艺术中心。在此，我们想提醒您，在开场前，请确认您的手机已经关闭，并请不要在节目进行中拍照或是录音。感谢您的配合。现在，请您欣赏我们的演出，谢谢。
All right, good evening. It's great to see you all here tonight. Celebration of music with our APAC conference, founded in 1995, trademark. My name is Lee Pufall, and I'm the high school orchestra director here and one of the hosts of this fine festival. And it really thrills that we're able to share a wonderful night of music with you all. We have 5 schools visiting to join us here on our campus, one from here in Shanghai, 2 more from China, and 2 from overseas, which you're going to hear more about later on, but you can see their lovely banners around here. So first off, I just would like to invite our concertmaster on stage to do some tuning. James? And now, our first piece I will introduce as Antique Airs and Dances, and the maestro may talk more about it later, but it's my pleasure to introduce our conductor for the evening. Professor Wes Kenny is in his 23rd year as the maestro for the Fort Collins Symphony. He also is Professor Emeritus of Colorado State University, winner of the American Prize, and many other accolades for his conducting. He has run youth orchestras around the world, and especially in the US, and has worked with ensembles of many levels and talents. And we are very honored to be able to invite him here today. So, will you please invite to the stage Professor Wes Kenny.
I don't normally talk at the beginning of concerts, but I thought I should tell you a little bit about the week that we've had. First of all, this is not an educational concert. It is a performance of professional level music. Any of the pieces that we're playing today could be found on the stands of the world's great orchestras. And I've told our young people that. We've had a fantastic time growing this music and having them learn the depth of a lot of the notes that they are executing for you. So the Respighi is a kind of an old wine, new bottles type of approach. It is transcriptions of some Renaissance music, mostly for lute, that has been now transcribed to string orchestra. Respighi wrote 3 ancient airs and dances. One of them is just for strings, which is the one that we're playing. There's a set of variation. There is a lot of technique involved, but you're going to find that the phrasing that Respighi has put into this is very 20th century. So please enjoy the 4 dances from Ancient Airs and Dances number 3. So as much as we would like to forget about the pandemic, for a lot of us who work with musicians, it was a time of discovery. So at Colorado State University, where I was the director of orchestra for 20 years, we get into fall of 2020, and the only musicians who are allowed in the building are those who can perform with masks on. So that's string players, and that's harpists, pianists, and also percussion. And in 21st century, we're fortunate to have online resources that can pull up pieces with that kind of combination. And so into a database I go, and I said, well, what's available? And one set of pieces that came up were by a British composer by the name of Samuel Coleridge Taylor. He exists in the end of the 19th century and on into the 20th century. And he is, in many ways, a cultural icon, because one of the things that we've done as musicians in changing the idea of our programming is to go with these BIPOC, DEI ideals and starting to program culturally underserved composers. And, you know, they deserve to have their music written. So I mentioned the name, let's say, Florence Price, who starts in the late 19th century and on into the 20th century, and whose music has come into the public eye now, mainly because there are performing editions that are available for her music. I should mention that she is a Black woman composer, and her music absolutely deserves to be written, and she's given opportunities for other women like her to follow in her footsteps. Samuel Coleridge Taylor is the same. Here is a Black British composer who, very unusual to see that at the end of the 19th century, but following him becomes William Grant Still, as an example, who really is in many ways, you know, a very prolific composer from the beginning of the 20th century on into the middle, and whose music absolutely deserves to be performed. I think we'll find these two novelettes that we're about to play for you with Samuel Coleridge Taylor, that they are every bit as good as anything written during that time. They're interesting music, they have a lot of phrasing, and there's a lot to teach to be found in this. There's actually 4 novelettes. We would like to play you the second and the fourth. The first, as I've been telling our young charges here, is a little bit like a walk through or stroll through a museum. And when something catches your eye, you're going to sit and maybe dwell on it for just a moment. The second one is a lot more assertive and is something that is energetic, but at the same time has its own set of elegance. Here are 2 novelettes by Samuel Coleridge Taylor. So one of the things I tell young people when they're performing, especially music out of the 19th century, romanticism, that you can't be cool and play this music. You have to wear it out on your sleeve. And that's an assignment that I find young people are willing to take the chance. Okay? What they do with their instruments out of their hands, well, that's another part of their lives. But here, they are discovering the world. And with Samuel Coleridge Taylor, here we have somebody from the late 19th century. And so all the ebb and flow and the dynamics up and down and the energy, that's all part of 19th century music. And they just got a history lesson into the human condition from the 1890s by just playing those pieces. They have, I think, a little more appreciation for what goes on there. So this is my third time in China, and my first time was way back in '95, before any of you were around, and then maybe about 12, 15 years ago, and now. And my first time in China, I was on tour with a youth orchestra that I was directing from California, and during the course of the season, we did a study of Chinese composers. And those Chinese composers were Tan Dun and Zhou Long, and then we commissioned the work by Chen Yi. And then there's one more name that you should know, Bright Sheng. And why are these names important? Because they were part of the first graduating class from the Beijing Central Conservatory after the Cultural Revolution. And they are still very prominent in the world today, writing their music. And especially Chen Yi and Zhou Long, I've known them for many, many years. They're both on the faculty at the University of Missouri at Kansas City, and won prizes for themselves in their compositions. And as Lee Puffle and I were discussing what kind of a program, I came across these folk songs that Zhou Long had written or transcribed for string quartet. And there is a commercial recording by the Shanghai String Quartet of these pieces. And then Zhelang went a step further and expanded them for string orchestra. And I'm here to tell you that this is wonderful music and very challenging at the same time. And this folk song, there's 8 of them, and the folk songs that he has chosen are from various kinds of activities that we might find in China. Some of them are work songs, there are songs that, in many ways a lullaby, and they all have a little bit of a story behind them, which I'm not going to get into, but I think you'll find that the colors and the character of these 8 pieces are really fantastic. And the last one is particularly enduring because it's entitled Leaving Home. There are some surprises along the way. Please enjoy. I've had a great time this week. These are some fantastic young musicians, and I want to give a lot of credit to all the directors who have brought them here and coached them over the course of this week and kept them active. And it really has been a great learning experience for all of us, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank Lee Puffle for inviting me over here over the Pacific Ocean to participate in this wonderful festival that you have on an annual basis. So, what's the value of the music classroom, and why do we need it? And I've pointed out that the music that we play, especially when it's written for wonderful string instruments and maybe even larger ensembles, that endeavor is the best that civilization has created. I want you to think about that, that it is, the imagination of geniuses who have written the notes and the dynamics and the articulations and have come up with a type of human expression that in many ways cannot be matched anywhere else. And I've told these young people that the flexibility that is required to play this music is the way humans are. Life doesn't go in a straight tempo. It ebbs and flows and has ups and downs, and we're capturing all of that in this music. I want to give a lot of credit also to the parents who are out there, because you are responsible also for making sure that these young people get the training, either by teachers or sending them to schools such as this, so that they get exposed to it. I've been around in this business for a very, very long time, and the students that I've taught, I've told them many times, I'm handing the mantle to you, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you hand it down to your own students. And I was telling the orchestra earlier today that this little situation I had when I was speaking to a conference, young people, and I asked the question, I said, so what would happen if we stopped playing Mozart the way that Mozart wanted his music to be played? And this little girl raised her hand, and I will never forget this, and said, Mozart would start to disappear. These people that you see on the stage are not going to let that happen, either with Mozart or any other composer from history, as long as they keep playing. And the things that take place in the music classroom are not just about music. I mentioned flexibility, cooperation, listening, problem solving. That's all taking place in the music classroom. And we're building better human beings as a result of that. So thank you, parents, for giving them the opportunity to pick up that mantle and carry it forward. So we have an interesting piece to end our program. And it was originally written for the Kronos String Quartet by David Keckley. And if you don't know the Kronos String Quartet, they were kind of one of the first string quartets to start exploring alternate types of expression. And they're all very, very capable musicians, but they decided that they wanted to transcribe like some contemporary rock music for string quartet and other kinds of sounds. And so here's a piece that is a funk for string quartet, then transcribed for a string orchestra, and appropriately titled The Funky Chicken. And I think that you will find this to be a little bit different than anything else we've played this evening. So please enjoy the funky chicken.
All right, we're going to have everyone remain standing here on stage. We have all of our directors from our different schools join us, and we have our photographer up in the balcony. So, with everyone on stage, look up there. Parents, you're welcome to take photos as well this moment. And smile. Cheese. All right, very nice. Okay, at this point, I'm going to ask the students to very carefully put your instruments on your chair as discussed, and then quietly go to the audience and sit by school so we can get our final thing, the presentation. Now, as they're doing that quietly, APAC has a lot of sport things they do, and this is one of our performing arts events that we have. We have this Arts Week where we have choir and strings, orchestra, and also dance. And then later in the spring, there's band and theater. And what this is a festival orchestra, so it is an audition internally, so each class can bring up to 16 students, and then we come together and form an orchestra and perform. So actually every 6 chairs has one person from each school, so that way there's equal representation and they all intermix. And we had that in our social events, like we went to Panlang TND, and people mixed and met each other, and the breaks and everything. So it really shares, as Professor Kenny was sharing about, with music, cooperation, and coming together to create something greater, a sum greater than its parts. So the students are going to find and sit together in their schools. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring up schools one at a time with their director, and they're going to go across the front of the stage, and then they're going to have a photo and then be given some accoutrements. Are we ready? All right. So, can we start, and let's give a round of applause and bring up people from the Western Academy of Beijing. Come on up. And coming from Kobe, Japan, we have our fantastic friends from Canadian Academy. Please come on up on stage. Fun fact, the only school we didn't confiscate a phone from. All right, thank you very much. And the hosts that hosted us last year, our friends down in Guangzhou, we have the American International School of Guangzhou. Come on up. Fun fact, they have a really cute therapy dog on their campus. Thank you very much. Next, we have our friends from the east side of Shanghai coming to us, Concordia International School of Shanghai. Come on up. Very much, Concordia. Next, we have our friends coming to us from South Korea. We have Taejong Christian International School. Come on up. Very much. And finally, we have the home team. We have the students from Shanghai American School, Puxi campus. Come on up.
Look over here!
All right, just to finish up, just want a few special thanks, and then we'll be wrapping up. We have some special thanks here. We'd like to thank our head of school, James Nelligan, our head of campus, Christoph Henry, high school principal, Stephen Caskey, our TIPI's director, Kate Wootan, our performing arts director, Kirk Holland, our director of partnerships, Cindy Lai, the arts teaching assistant, Amber Song, who put together a fantastic performance last night of traditional Chinese instruments that we would definitely be having back. We have our middle school orchestra teacher who helped with sectionals and also played bass for us, Leslie Ziegler. We have Tony Bott, our middle school VMM teacher who provides some percussion. We also have the amazing Allie and Sabrina from the activities office, without whom none of this would be possible. Let's have a hand for them right now. Allie and Sabrina. And also, all this setup and helping move chairs, stands, audiovisual, everything, our performing arts crew. Can we get a hand for them? And finally, we have the marketing department, the media council doing some filming, the facilities crew who help move things, and Puxi Campus Transportation Office for getting us around town. Please have one round of applause for all the special thanks. With that, that's going to conclude our APAC Orchestra concert. Again, thank you very much for coming. Students, remember, you should put your instrument away and music. Don't leave anything on stage. And then directors and students and parents are welcome to come hang out too. We're going to go to the cafeteria for the banquet. So once again, thank you for coming and have a good night.